Hello everyone. Today I'll be guiding you through my Uncle Death rig for Agora's July Rest in Peace Animchallenge. I will first go through the rig UI and how to find all the mechanisms, then I'll show you the functionalities of the Uncle Death rig from top to bottom, and then I'll show you the Scythe rig. When you first open up the file, you'll be greeted with this text file, and possibly a pop-up that wants you to execute a Python script. You will have to enable it to use the special mechanisms and rig UI. This text file is where you'll find the information about this rig and some contact information to contact me on Discord or on Twitter. Just a disclaimer though, do not use this rig for commercial purposes, but you are allowed to edit the rig if you need to. Once you have read all this, you can move to the top left and click on the animation workspace. Here you'll be greeted with the Uncle Death and Scythe rigs. To start off, you should see the rig UI on the right. This menu is called the N menu. To toggle this menu on and off, you can press the letter N on your keyboard. If you do not see what I see here, make sure you allowed execution of the Python script when launching this blend file. One quick tip is to set your transformation orientation to normal and your transformation pivot point to individual origins. This is because when you set it to global, it'll follow the global rotation. So like over here, if you rotate this on X, it'll rotate to the left and right. But once you set it to normal, it'll rotate like this instead. It looks much better. And for the individual origins, it's easier to use fingers when you're using individual origins, because it'll scale every finger individually rather than scale them all at once, which will make it look very strange. Starting off with the face layer, this layer is comprised of all of the bones relating to editing the face. So the jaw, the eye bones, and the glasses. This cube right here is the main controller for the glasses. If you try to move the pivot bone, it won't do anything. But once you start rotating it, the main controller of the glasses will start pivoting around the pivot bone. You can move it anywhere you'd like, and the glasses will start pivoting, the main controller of the glasses will start pivoting around them. You can also change the parent for the glasses right here by selecting this, and then selecting what you would like it to parent to. Currently it's parented to the head, but you can also change it to any other controller you'd like. The torso layer is comprised of all the bones relating to the torso. So that'll be the head, the neck, the shoulders, the chest, the hips, and this main controller torso bone, which controls everything else. Going back to the head, these two main properties right here, when enabled, they control whether the head and the neck follow the chest bone. The torso tweak layer is essentially just an FK spine. It also has these tweaker bones that allow you to change up the deformations of the character slightly. It has all the bones you'd expect in an FK rig. The fingers layer includes the finger bones of both hands and a palm controller. You can curl the fingers by scaling and rotating this controller. The palm controller just controls the palm. You can move it and you can rotate it. If you'd like to switch any of these fingers to IK, you can select any of the finger bones you'd like to switch to IK and then set the finger IK value to 1. It'll automatically go to IK. If you'd like to snap the FK to the IK or the IK to the FK, you can just select one of these values, and it'll automatically snap to it. The curvature value just controls the curvature of the finger. The finger's detail layer is essentially just the raw joints of the finger. You can move them, and you can rotate them. Whenever you snap FK to IK or IK to FK, those changes will be seen in this layer. The arm IK layer is just like any other arm IK, except with a couple added features. These arrows right here is the pull target. This gear, you can ignore it, but if you'd like to scale the arm, make sure to use the gear. The arm bone has a couple added extra features. This right here is the main controller that I have selected right now. This is the pivot point for the base of the wrist. And this is a custom pivot point that allows you to rotate between it whenever you'd like. The main properties for this layer, you can switch between IK and FK, and that just switches it to IK to FK. You can snap between them, you can turn on the IK stretch or disable it, and you can toggle the poles, the IK parent, and the pole parent. This button right here will switch the pole of this arm to this target instead rather than using these arrows. The IK parent allows you to switch the IK parent of this bone right here. So if I switch to torso, it'll be parented to the torso instead. As you can see right here, this IK bone right here is not parented to the torso, so it won't follow it. The pole parent controls the pole target's parent. So if I switch it to the torso, it'll follow the torso as well. Normally it is parented to the shoulder, so it'll follow the torso anyway, because the torso controls everything else. The arm FK rig is just like any other FK rig you'd expect. You can rotate it, and you can move the base bone around. If you'd like the FK limb bone to not follow the chest rotation, you can switch the FK limb follow to 1, and then it'll stop following it. You can turn on Auto IK in the pose options to automatically have Blender make an IK system for the FK system. Sometimes it doesn't work that well though, but if it works for you, perfect. The arm tweak layer is just a tweak layer. It allows you to bend the arms, curve them, do anything you'd like to them. You shouldn't use this too early though, as it might break some of the rig. Changing this rubber tweak allows you to also change the more curvature. The foot IK layer is very similar to the arm IK layer, except that it has anything you'd expect from an IK foot rig. This is the heel pivot, this is the foot spin pivot, this is the toe, this is the main IK bone, and you can also switch to IK and FK here, anything you'd expect from the other the IK arm controllers. This one toggles the pole, this one switches the IK parent, this one switches the pole parent. It's basically the same as the IK arm. The FK leg layer is very similar to the FK arm layer. It does pretty much the exact same thing. You can switch the follow here to stop the legs from chasing the hips. There's the snapping tool, and there's also the toe controller. The leg tweak layer is just like the arm tweak layer. It allows you to bend and break the bones of the leg. Though you shouldn't use it too early again, because it might make the looks look a little wonky once you actually start using the IK and the FK rig. Finally, the scythe. Selecting all of the blade bones allows you to rotate them, move them, scale them, do anything you'd want with them. This slider right in front of the blades controls whether they retract or they come out of the scythe. This master handle right here controls everything, and the root also does the same. These green handle bones right here, they control the structure of the scythe. You can rotate them, you can move them around, you can scale them. There is also another set right here for the handle. They're disconnected from this part of the scythe, so you can control them individually as well. This pivot bone right here allows you to make a custom pivot for the scythe. So you can rotate it around its midsection like this. If you set it back, you can see that it rotates around the base of the scythe. You can move it around, set it to the top of the scythe, and it'll start rotating around the top of the scythe. You can move it anywhere, and it'll start rotating around it. If you'd like the hands of the Uncle Death Rig to stick to the scythe, you have to go to the IK Constraints tab, and this copy transform, you have to set its influence to 1. And then you see that it sticks to the scythe now. Now you can rotate the IK wrist controller and then position it however you'd like. It'll follow. Same thing for this arm. You just have to turn on the influence for this bone constraint, and then it'll go straight to the scythe. Now you can position it however you'd like. You can also use this custom IK pivot, and it'll still follow. To switch where the hands stick to the handles, you can go to the copy transforms constraint and then switch it from right here. So you can have both arms go to the same spot. You can have one be all the way at the bottom of the scythe, and it'll still work. That's pretty much it for the Scythe Rig. That was actually not pretty much it for the Scythe Rig. If you would like the scythe to follow the torso, because right now it isn't, it's the hands would just follow the scythe, there is a child of constraint on the master controller. Once you enable it, it'll still pivot around, but it'll now follow the torso. Thank you for using the Uncle Death Rig. I hope you enjoy it.